Hi, I'm Coach Lynne Edris of coaching ADDvantages.com. I'm a life and ADHD coach, and I work with individuals who struggle with things like procrastination, disorganization, poor time management, weak follow through, and having too much on their plates. My clients come from all different walks of life, all different professions and education, and from all over the world. But feelings of unmet potential are kind of the underlying thread of the clients that come to my coaching practice and kind of what they have in common. And one of the things that contributes most to this is difficulty with follow through, procrastination, overwhelm, avoidance. It shows up a little bit differently in each client and for different reasons as well, but there are definitely common threads. When we are struggling with follow through, when we're not doing what we intend to do when we intend to do it, it affects the way we feel about ourselves. And one of the first things that happens is we go into a place of what I call self-flagellation, a place where you're beating yourself up. You're giving yourself kind of a lot of moral judgment and a good old-fashioned talking to. So you're thinking things like, here we go again, I'm weak, I'm lazy, I'm undisciplined, I need to try harder, it's not who you want to be, all of those kind of negative things. And we're in that place of self-flagellation when we're giving ourselves a good old-fashioned, beating. We're in a place of what I call blame and shame. And you can't be in a blame and shame mindset. You can't be thinking all of those negative things and at the same time be coming up with problems to your solutions. So you can't be in a place of creative problem solving and in a place of blame and shame at the same time. So I want my clients out of that blame and shame. I want my clients to get into creative problem solving. So one of the things I do with my clients initially is to talk about the reasons that they struggle. And although the specific reasons can be very different for each individual, and they tend to be quite individual and quite, varying, there are underlying common threads. And there are three really common reasons why individuals tend to struggle with follow through, why we tend to procrastinate and avoid and become overwhelmed, why we get stuck and don't do the things we intend to do. And I call those things the big three reasons. And the big three reasons are when something is too big, when it's not well defined, and when it lacks interest. So first, when something is too big, it's just that, it's too big. It's the actual sheer size of the thing, whatever it is we're trying to do or we intend to do, is just too big for us to get started on. Okay, so we struggle to get started. That's number one, too big. Number two is when something lacks definition or when it's not well defined. These are things that we don't know exactly what we're getting ourselves into. We don't know how long they're going to take. We don't know how much energy they're going to take or how much time they're going to take or what's going to be involved once we get started. And often these things that are not well defined, I also call nebulous. So, we don't know quite what the deal is. We don't know what we're getting ourselves into. So they don't have good definitions of a start place and an end place and what's going to come in the middle. And often we don't really even know what finished is going to look like. So those things they fit the number two criterion. They are not well defined or nebulous. So the number three of the big three reasons is when something is plain old boring, when it lacks interest or stimulation. For those of us with ADD or with those of us with those kinds of challenges, boredom is like kryptonite. So most of us have a very strong aversion to being bored or to things that are really, not interesting at all. It makes our brains kind of go to sleep and have a hard time functioning. So those big three reasons are when something is too big, when it's not well defined, and when it lacks interest. Okay, so those are your big three. The reason this is important to keep in mind is that when you are focusing on the big three, you're out of that blame and shame mindset. You're out of that self-flagellation, and you can get yourself into a place where you can think about solutions. And the common, core solution to all three of the big three challenges is to break whatever it is you're trying to do into manageable pieces. Smaller pieces in coaching, we call this chunking. Chunking a task or a project gives the project, it limits it in size, so it addresses the too big. It gives it definition, so it addresses the not well-defined or nebulous quality, and it often can give it enough interest for us to get started on or to activate on, which is really important. So the antidote to the big three, to the too big, the not well-defined, and the lacking interest is to break it down. But you can't break it down when you're in that blame and shame mindset. So that's just a good place to take your head when you find yourself not following through, when you find yourself overwhelmed or procrastinating or avoiding doing something that you know you need to do, or something that you really intend to do, and maybe even something that you want to do. Think about the big three. Look at how the thing fits the big three, and then try to break it down. That's not all there is to procrastination and overwhelm and avoidance, of course. Again, it's a very complicated and a very complex problem. If you need more help than this, which most of you will, feel free to visit my website, www.coachingaddvantages.com. You can learn more about what I do, about my private coaching practice. You can also contact me there or schedule a complimentary phone consultation. You can also learn more about a program that I launch periodically. It's a group program. It's a very sort of multifaceted approach to the problems we have with procrastination and follow through, and it's called the Push Past Procrastination program. It's a group program I launch, again, periodically. At the time of this recording, the next round will start on May 9th. So if you'd like to learn more about that, you can visit www.pushpastprocrastination.com. And if you're watching this video through my website or you're a newsletter reader, look around. I have some coupon codes that I put out to my newsletter readership periodically, which can give you quite substantial savings on the program and any of the other digital products that I provide as well. Again, I'm Lynne Edris. I hope you found something in here that's helpful. I know how tough this struggle can be as a woman with ADD myself, and having been a coach of probably thousands of individuals over the last decade or so. So I really hope there's something in here that helps you. Don't hesitate to contact me, or if you have any questions or about any of my programs or what I do or anything. Again, Lynne Edris of CoachingADDvantages.com. Thanks for watching. I appreciate your time. Take care.